morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for being patient with us a few minutes. I was telling the staff here in the room, and maybe you heard online, but this is the first time I do Zoom, our new online meeting platform, so we're still trying to figure out the little kinks to it, we will say. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Like most meetings, we've got the agenda posted on the web page, but before we go there, let's do introductions. So we can start with Carrie here, your name, your library, and if there was anything interesting that happened at the library over the summer, for summer reading or anything noteworthy.
Sure. I'm Carrie Gibbons. I'm the New Circulation and Tech Services Manager at Washington District Library. I guess our summer reading, there were a lot of, I was not prepared for all, we just had a lot of crazy. Everyone had a great time. I think my favorite program that I didn't participate in was the festival. The tweens had, the tweens just had a giant mess out back. And a spaghetti.
Oh, how fun. That's a neat idea. That's funny. How about you, Lori?
Lori Haller from Catalogger at Washington Library. And like I said, the kids really enjoyed the summer. They had them out the door. DIY seemed to be really popular this summer. We did a lot of DIY programs and got a huge response.
Wonderful. Well, just you, Lisa.
Sure. Lisa Shemansky, RSA. Nothing interesting happened over the summer except they had my performance discussion.
She got a glowing review. Let's jump to you, Jeannie.
Jeannie Thomas from Farmington Area Public Library District. I'm the office manager. With the new director this year for summer reading, we did an actual big kickoff night where we had inflatables and a cookie walk and a caricature guy and face painting, and it was very well attended by the community.
Almost like a carnival.
Yes,
sounds like
we're going for. So look for that to continue.
A new tradition.
Yes.
How about you, Megan?
I'm Megan Rowe from Galesburg. Right now we're actually doing a September library card sign-up month. So we're doing a bunch of things trying to get people into the library. And we put bookmarks out around the town so people can pick up their bookmarks and bring them into the library. Be entered for a raffle drawing.
That's a clever idea because you'll reach people that won't come in. How about you, Erin?
I'm here in Knowledge from the Illinois Public Library, Laura, and I'm listening to this movie.
You like it that way, right?
I like it that way.
That's what I thought.
People ask me why I'm back there, I say, but it's always just been the spot. Anyways, we did get a bearded dragon this year, and he is a big hit. And if my coworker has her way, if she leaves, she can pick it up.
Does he have a name?
His name is Morgan. We picked names, and everybody that came in the library could pick which name they prefer.
You can't have a dragon without a name. It doesn't work. How about you, Becky?
If you were to take your public library,
I don't think we can do some reading because we had a lot more to find out.
How about you, Jim? We can still count it as yours.
Candy and maybe candy. I read those.
Can you say again what you call them? Blue? Ooh, I like the alliteration. Yeah, that's like a clever
to go along with the Litly, it was just supposed to be a summer program, but now they've extended it and they are going to be an ongoing.
Sounds like they really took off.
Yeah,
That's
I think we.
job security putting them in, right? How about you, Courtney?
I had, everybody, I didn't say it. I'm already in the, oh my gosh, next
Okay, how about you, Elizabeth?
And we finished great from our reading, but I have remembered that I have all programs next week. So
Okay, good, you're moving on.
Moving on,
Let's see.
I have Noelle Thompson library, and I just started probably after summer.
Welcome to RSA. It's good to see you here. Let's she will be.
I will be able to feel.
Excellent. Thank you, Nancy, for making the drive again. We'll jump to you, Jamie.
And also Thursday.
Wears many hats, looks like. Okay, I'll read who's online. We've got Abby Miles and Jennifer Spafford from Brimfield Public Library, Beth Stutlinger from William Evans Library District, Faye Matson from Brown County Public Library District, Jeannie Moonen from Normal Public Library, Jennifer Schote from Peoria Public Library, Julia Callahan from Normal Public Library, Kendall, our trusty tech helper, agenda filler, many hats.
So and I know when to come back later.
Right. Megan Greenhala, Chillicothe Public Library. My apologies if I pronounced it wrong. Michelle Armbruster, Morrison and Mary Wiley Library in Elmwood. Chantry Miller, Blessing Health Professions Library, and then Usma Salat from Normal Public Library. Just safe to close those.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me go to our database committee page. So remember, if we're at rsanfp.com, it loads the support staff site. We go to RSA board committee groups, and then database management committee on the left. And then notice we've got agenda for today. And then down at the bottom of the page, like we always do, we've got different resources links that go with the agenda. Go ahead and open the agenda. Okay. We thought it'd be helpful to give you a staffing update with Kendall here. We've had, if you could tell from the introduction, we're excited to have more staff join us. And then there's a few other topics too we wanted to be sure and mention under our staffing update.
All right. So first off, we have two new staff. So for those of you who are online, do you have pictures of them?
Oh yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
For those of you online, we'll put their pictures up so you know who to blame. I mean, who they are when they come in your library. First off, we have Sarah from Galesburg, formerly from Galesburg. So actually, you can come on up front, and if you sit in front of the where Erica's sitting, the people online can actually see your face move.
Camera.
Actually, we don't need to have the pictures if they're sitting there because the camera's on.
Oh, I put some effort into my document.
Oh, okay. We're going to see the document then.
Oh, weird. Oh, okay. Yeah, there she is.
That's the picture you sent us. So.
We'd like to ask them.
No, I thought they were good pictures. At least they let you submit a picture versus taking it on your first day when you're all overwhelmed and frazzled. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to tell our members? I know you've been at Trust
Megan's gonna talk about binge boxes later, and that was one of the projects that I worked on before that. So if any of your people are interested, they can answer that, or I can answer that. Anything else?
For those in the room, I'm handing out a revised RSA content list that can Jamie and Sarah.
And then our second new staff member is Jamie Buckman, formerly of Marquette Heights. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
As Kenny said, I'm Jamie. I was the director of Marquette Heights. Many of you know Marquette Heights is big, so I was director of
A one-room library.
one-room library with me and a part-time.
And it's not far from here.
No, it's a field trip. I was at Marquette Heights for a little over a year and a half. Before then, I was in circulation and marketing.
We're excited to have someone that can help handle this. RSA cat. We have mobile app tinkering and configuration because that is desperately needed, right? Kendall?
Yep.
This is good.
And for those online who couldn't hear, Sarah was the CERT manager at Galesburg for 6 years prior to coming here. And Jamie Buckman was the director at Marquette Heights for a year and then at Morton Public Library for a couple of years. So we have somebody who has large library experience and somebody who had a one-room library and did everything. So I think we're good to go there. And lesson learned, we need to have people sitting up here so they can be heard.
Okay, we'll make sure we cover the microphone.
We handed out the revised who to contact list. I'll show online where you can get to that. Let's see. Open the windows. Okay. That one. So if on the website you can go to RSA support staff info. Right here is the download for the RSA contact list. Basically, it just lists out everybody's position and email address. To be honest, the best way to get a hold of anyone here is to send an email to the help desk because, for instance, I'm going to be out of the office for the next couple of days. And if you email me and your system is down, your system will be down until I get back because I'm not going to have great email access where I will be. So emailing the help desk always gets you a quicker response, usually gets you a quicker response, let me put it that way. Sometimes we have to, I'll look at it and go, well, I can't answer this, and I'll send it over to Anna, and Emma will go, maybe I can answer this, and then we have a group meeting and we figure out the answer. So please, unless it's something like personal to that you need to talk one-on-one, just kind of email the help desk. It makes it a lot easier for us to manage the ever-increasing flood of things coming to us. All right. We do have a new position open right now still, the cataloging and database coordinator position. We advertised over the summer. We're doing interviews next Thursday. If we find a candidate, great. If we don't find a candidate, we'll open it back up and we'll go fishing again. It's amazing, you get different amounts of applications based on the time of the year. So the first time it was open, we got 3. The second time it was open, we got like 12. You know, and it was open back to back. It's not like it was months apart. So we do appreciate folks that applied. Let's see. Okay, did that. Lisa has now been with us for 2 years. So yay, Lisa. She's up taking notes. Thank you, Lisa. I don't, those of you that are in the building, you may notice that things look a little different. For those of you not in the building, we have basically every person in RSA has changed offices except for Patty. We went through and basically we needed a bigger conference room, small conference room, and we wanted to get the cataloging department offices with windows. So what we've done is Anna's down here in the corner in the bottom right. Then we've got Jane and Rhonda, Erica, the new cataloging position, Lisa, Jamie, Doug, Patty, and Sarah. And then James and I.
They're in the boys' corner.
We're across the hall where it's nice and quiet over here, to be honest. I have no idea what people over here are doing because no one walks by here unless they need to walk by there. So I like my office over here better because I can see people walking by and I could grab them if I needed. At some point in the future, where this future meeting space, this is where all those cabinets and movable shelving used to be. The tracks are still on the floor, so it's kind of a tripping hazard. But eventually that'll get turned into meeting space, we think. We're currently here. Training lab didn't change, but we now have a small conference room where we can get like 18 people in. We were doing our staff meetings in the small conference or in the training lab where 8 people fit, and we had 10 people on staff, so it was very cozy in there. Pretty soon we'll have 12 on staff. So there is a map, the same map hanging right inside the door on the little post-it board. So anybody who comes in the building and isn't sure where to go, there's a map right inside the door. And the last thing for this section I wanted to talk about was a lot of you helped with the strategic planning process at our August meeting and previously over the spring in focus groups. That is still ongoing. This afternoon, the board will be here. We've got a board meeting this afternoon to look at the draft strategic plan, our areas of focus and kind of directions, and to start looking at an action plan to start implementing some things. So that is still well in hand. The process is still moving. I'm pretty sure that the board will be able to pass and approve the strategic plan at our November board meeting, at which point in time we can start implementing. We've already implemented some smaller things that came out of focus groups that were like, oh, well, we can fix that right away, or we can get on that right away. But this is kind of our direction for the next 3-ish years, 3 to 5, 20, however long it takes, right? But that is well in hand. It is going very nicely, and I'm pretty pleased not only with how the process has gone, but how much feedback we got. There were some areas where we have talked about things on staff over the years, but we didn't feel like the member libraries felt the same way as us. And then we found out through this process that in some ways, yes, they did. And in other ways that we're like, oh, we didn't even know that you guys had noticed some things. So there were a lot of things that came out of that that are going to be very positive, that we feel like we have enough member feedback and enough member buy-in that we can actually start trying to implement some things and make some difference. So that has all gone very well, and I'm quite pleased with it.
One thing we thought would be helpful, moving on to agenda item number 3, Liza Campbell, as I'm sure you know, she took a position at a new library out of state, so she is no longer our committee chair. So we thought this would be a good time, and we'll do this during Anna's meeting too with Circulation Committee, just to talk about as a group what we see as the purpose of this committee. One thing I did is, for those in the room, but I posted a link on our meeting resources, I printed the relevant section from the RSA bylaws where it talks about these committees, and I highlighted the section. But we're not sure doing what you want with this group. So we thought we would have a discussion to see where we're at with this, especially since we need a new chair or co-chair.
And to go along with that, the biggest, I think, kind of surprise that came out of the whole focus groups and all of the meetings and all of the feedback that we got going through this whole process was that the membership wants to be engaged, wants leadership opportunities, wants mentoring opportunities, wants there to be a spectrum of how engaged should I be. And this is something that we were a little surprised about how strong that feeling was. But it basically, it's turned into an entire tier of the strategic plan, member engagement. Specifically, things like there are ways RSA can provide leadership opportunities to people who are not in leadership positions and people who are currently filling leadership positions in their local library. Chair and vice chair of a committee like this is a perfect example of that. That's the kind of thing that people can put on the resume. It's the kind of thing that people can come in and do for a year, maybe 2 years, get basically a low stress leadership kind of position where
It's a resume builder,
Yeah.
but low stress. Yeah.
it kind of is, but it is one of those things that there was feedback that, hey, not only do we want to know kind of what are these committees for, who should attend them, who should attend users group, who should be on the board, who should attend meetings, what the meetings should be doing, but also, we want to be able to build the membership through these types of meetings. So the chair and vice chair of the committees, I think, or chair, co-chair, however we want to do it, I think we have to rewrite our bylaws based on the outcome of the strategic plan anyway. So what I'm thinking is that we get people to be a vice chair for a year and then a chair for a year, just roll them up. A lot of places do that now. That's fairly common.
And then it helps us to just get different people participating, because I know it can get, I know we don't always get volunteers, but we're thinking if we have it this way, that you have a limited tour of duty, so to speak. It really isn't that bad.
Yeah, no leader for life.
Aaron did it was that a couple years ago? You did that. But I agree with Kendall. I think that's one change. It's not in our current bylaws, but I think that would be a good one. There's a chair and then there's a second in charge, and then the second in charge eventually takes over when it's the next year.
So that's kind of what we were thinking. The other side of this is that if nobody feels like they need to be the chair of a committee, I wonder why we have a committee, to be blunt. If it's not important enough for somebody to want to lead it, then we're doing something wrong. We're not providing either what you want or what you need, or we've got the committee kind of the committee kind of, we've drifted from whatever it was that was so helpful at the beginning, right? And there has